May 24, 1991, the Eritrean people are still under ruthless and relentless repression from the dictator Isaias Afwerki and his cronies, the PFDJ, and their sympathizers. Everybody knows what is dictatorship. Any dictator is not different from the other in any aspect. Think of Muammar Gaddafi of Libya. Think of Ali Abdullah Saleh of Yemen. Think of Bashir Hafid al-Assad of Syria, etc. They are all the same. What is happening to the Syrians is happening to the Eritreans. The moods might be different, but the acts are the same. Killing and destroying the human race, because that is the only way for dictators to exist or survive. Just like the other dictators, Isaias Afwerki is either destroying or not allowing to exist the political and legal institutions like the parliament or any political parties or the judicial system. He does not allow interest groups like the labor union to exist. Human rights are central to our petitions today. We as people have not ever been granted any of the human rights like freedom of travel, freedom of association, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of writing, etc. These human rights should be central to the democratic change that is currently in process through the Eritrean National Assembly for Democratic Change, constituted in November of 2011 in Awassa, Ethiopia. So we Eritreans anywhere, including the organized opposition groups or fronts, should work under this organization that has the mandate to make this process of democratic change real. There should be rule of law and human rights in Eritrea based on the national constitution that is going to be duly reinstated as a guideline to the coming democratic Eritrean government. Isaias Afwerki is sitting there without any constitution. He and his cronies are there to destroy the people and the nation. They are trying to destroy the social fabric and the culture as a whole. They always try to create tribal differences and to disseminate hatred among the inhabitants in just the same way the Libyan, the Syrian, the Yemeni leaders have been doing. Isaias and his cronies are leaving no stone unturned to ruin the nation. We have witnessed that the youth are rounded up and taken to the recruitment center, Sawa, and forced to stay there indefinitely. We have witnessed that Eritreans died in tens of thousands in the 1998 Ethio-Eritrean War. We have witnessed that many of the youth are kept in jail and many die there. We do not forget the disappearances of the G15. We remember the disappearance of the journalist Dawit, an Eritrean Swedish national. No one knows about him ever since. We have witnessed tortures our daily life in the prison centers. We have noticed that disappearances and secret killings are common as a means of destroying the social fabric. We have witnessed the youth fleeing to neighboring countries like Ethiopia, the Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, and Yemen, etc. We have witnessed the horrible incidents of Eritreans in the Sinai Peninsula, Eritreans being raided by Bedouins on their way to Israel and got strangled and killed like the sheep for kidney harvest. We have witnessed Eritreans using crammed, broken boats, crossing the seas and the turbulent, stormy sea waters, boats that could not resist the waves surging ups and downs, boats carrying Eritrean souls yelling and crying for help. Yes, Eritreans, boys and girls, children and their mothers. As the boats capsized, the souls drowned in the sea waters. Yes, the regime is making use of all this and whatnot to destroy the Eritrean people. Isaias and his cronies are there to destroy the economy. It's a closed economy. All the borders, the Sudan, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Yemen are closed. Think of the 6% natural unemployment rate that is universally accepted. No one cares about it. Contrary to the natural unemployment rate, 94% of the potential workforce is directed to the non-productive center of the economy, which is Sawa, the military recruitment center. This means that 94% of the Eritrean potential workforce remains unemployed. The people are very poor. They do not benefit of the economy. The domestic currency's purchasing power is very weak. That is, inflation is very high. Nobody cares about consumption, disposable income, etc. There is no investment, as there is no security, and because the rate of insolvency is high. We have hinted at the cronies and sympathizers above. These are the source of income to this dictatorial system in Eritrea. Each one of these cronies or sympathizers is forced to contribute 2% of his income to this regime. On top of that, concerts like this one of today in Gießen, Frankfurt, are also used as the source of income to this regime. That is what these cronies and sympathizers are doing today here in Gießen, as they have been doing ever since here and elsewhere in the world. Isaias Afwerki uses this money not for the benefit of the Eritrean people in any way or form, but to buy weapons or firearms to supply terrorists and organized banditry or piracy, thus creating havoc and commotion everywhere, especially in and around the Horn of Africa. United Nations and others. Hello, delegates of the United Nations sitting in those chambers in Geneva. Hello, delegates of the European Union sitting in those chambers in Brussels. Here we are Eritreans raising our voices to demonstrate our grievances. Why not block any such sources of income to this regime, be it the 2% or any other source by way of concerts or any other means? You, the United States and the European Union, certainly know that the regime is using this money to finance terrorist acts. This regime should collapse. Yaskut an-Nizam. Here we are chanting for justice. Here we are chanting for democracy. Here we are chanting for human rights. Here we are pleading for justice. Here we are pleading for democracy. Here we are pleading for human rights. Here we are Eritreans raising our petitions. Here we are petitioning for justice. Here we are petitioning for democracy. Here we are petitioning for human rights. Here we are also petitioning to acquire the release of all political prisoners. An address to the Eritrean youth. This is an address to the Eritrean youth and to the Eritrean people as a whole anywhere in the world. The era of these dictators is over. You Eritrean youngsters, let us make history. We are at your side. Let us follow the examples of the Egyptians, the Tunisians, the Syrians, the Sudanese, the Yemenis, and the like. Let us unite, because unity is strength. Let us mobilize our physical and intellectual power. Let us mobilize our physical and intellectual strength. It is time. Let us gather momentum. Let's mobilize our forces anywhere in the world, in Europe, USA, Australia, in the Middle East and Asia. Victory to the Eritrean people. Down with the regime, down with the dictator. May God grant our martyrs rest.